That's bad.
Alright, what's going on, guys? Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you're feeling refreshed and rejuvenated, because today we're working on the new car, the White Snake here. The plan is to get an engine set in this thing. The motor mount showed up, so I can get the engine kind of sat in place. Urethane mounts, not hard mounts, because, you know, street car, want it to be a little comfortable. So those will absorb a little bit of the vibrations. Anytime you put a lot of miles on a solid mounted car, eventually it starts to rattle your teeth out. So we're going to get the engine sat in here, kind of roughly mocked up. It's not going to be the permanent thing. I don't know. We'll kind of play that by ear. Yeah, I think we'll probably end up using the 5.3 that they dropped off with the car. We'll probably just pull the exhaust and intake off that. Might even leave the truck pan on it for now. Although I imagine the F-body pan will work just fine. It needs to be cleaned out. So yeah, we'll probably just leave the truck pan on it for now, and it might have enough clearance to work for just mocking up. And then once we're actually putting this thing together, we'll use the F-body pan. Like I said, we'll pull the headers, well, not headers, the exhaust manifolds off this thing, pull the intake off at all the wiring, front accessories. We'll set that thing down in here. Then we can set the Texas Speed intake on here. I don't know if you guys remember that, but along with the car, I got the Huron Speed Kit, the Precision 88, and this Texas Speed intake manifold. We'll get this thing sat on here, and we can see how everything fits. So I got to pull the fender and front bumper cover back off so that I can fit up the intercooler. I have to move some stuff around the shop too so that I can get things in here. And then I know that in the last video with this car, I mentioned wanting to repaint it. I'm really torn on that, actually. I really like the idea of keeping it kind of ratty like this and just like clear coat over the exposed sections. I really like that idea. Just make it look, you know, really worn and like it's been around the block a time or two. But I also really like the idea of repainting the white. But either way, I wanted to get the engine and turbo kit mocked up in case I have to cut anything. I want to do that before painting it. So that was kind of priority number one, was get that kind of in place. I know that I'm gonna have to, you know, finagle things a little bit because that kit's for a Fox body, and I know that they're very similar, but also very different at the same time. So I'm gonna get the bumper cover pulled off, get the fender pulled off, and then start moving things around, get the engine set in here. There we go. Alright, now I get to move all this stuff. Alright, so truthfully, I don't know if this motor's any good. He said he bought it out of or got it out of, oh, it rolls over easy. Yeah, it rolls over super smooth, so it's probably actually pretty good. Yeah, the bottom end's actually probably fine. Or every single rod is missing, one of those. So I need to pull intake manifold, wiring harness, exhaust manifold, AC compressor, power steering bracket, all that off, motor mounts off, and then we can set it down in the car and see how everything fits. I don't know for sure what I'm going to do with this yet. My plan was initially to take the crank out of this and use it for the aluminum motor because we need a good crank for that. But if this thing runs good, what heads are these? 706? If this thing runs good, we might reuse it and have two good motors instead of one good motor. I think that would make more sense. And then I can have this with the iron motor at least for a while, and then I'll probably end up putting the aluminum motor in this and then maybe the iron motor in the 55. Or maybe we'll just keep the iron motor in the Cobra and put the aluminum motor in the 55. I don't know. Too many choices. But I'm gonna start pulling this thing apart. Alright, got this thing all torn apart, and believe it or not, every single one of the exhaust manifold bolts came out. Which, if you've ever even been in the same area code as an LS, you know that is extremely rare. So I did go and buy a lottery ticket. I scratched it all off, and they all said you're gay. So I'm gonna go get the plate to bolt on this thing, probably take it outside, power wash it a little bit, and start setting it in the car. How are you not falling off yet? Wonderful news. Got the engine outside on the stand, hanging there, waiting for me to absolutely squirt it down. And I thought I was just gonna raw dog it, but turns out I have about 3/4 of a can left. Let's go. Oh yeah. Saturated. Alright, here's the motor mounts. Obviously this will bolt to the block. These are not Dirty Dingo, by the way. These are from a company called Metal Tech, which is, I guess, out of Allendale, Michigan, which is a nice surprise. And here's the cradle side mount. And here's the frame side mount. I'm not sure what hole it's going to need to be in, so that'll be fun. I'm going to start off with it in the little ones. we'll see where they want to go. So I'm going to get these tossed on real quick, and then we'll start setting the motor in the car. I did a lot of measuring and everything off camera. It's just a street car, but I wanted to get things squared away. Like, I don't know how much it's going to show on camera, but to me, it looks crooked. And I know it's an optical illusion because I measured everything 500 times, but, you know, it is what it is. Now we can start mocking up the turbo kit and set the intake on there and make this thing look like a rowdy MFing car. Alright, got the turbo kit just loosely bolted in place. I do like this massive mount here that bolts to the side of the block where the air conditioning mount used to bolt. And this is a massive flange, holy. Alright, I'm going to tighten that one down at the block, and then I think we'll set the turbo on. One thing I love about these big turbos is, boy, they're heavy. Oh, baby. God dang, that thing's huge. Check that out. Hot side fits perfect. So yeah, I'm gonna have to cut like this corner out so that I can rotate the turbo, reclock it pointing down, and then we can go like that into the intercooler. Probably keep this here just to keep junk from getting in the turbo. But yeah, man, that looks, dang, that looks rowdy. Holy gobs of room over here for this header. This is amazing. That is a massive 5-inch downpipe that necks down to a 4-inch that should have the pieces to go back a ways. I don't know if we're going to run a full exhaust or come out the bumper to like a little bullhorn, which is probably what I'll end up doing, mayhaps. We'll have to see though. But dude, that looks so sick. That looks absolutely disgusting. This just made me absolutely fall in love with the car. Yeah, that's it. I'm absolutely sold. I love this car. This looks so sick. So I think I'm going to wrap it up for the night, head in, get some dinner, clean up, hang out with the kids a little bit, and then maybe next we'll try fitting the intercooler and see how the cold side fits. But that's the part that I think we're going to need to modify some stuff. Like all this, some of that, a little bit of this, that. Try and get that thing to work, and then be able to hide it behind the front bumper cover. Alright, so this is the part where things might get a little creative, because I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but this kit, this whole turbo kit is for a Fox body, so I expected the engine side of it, the hot side, to clear pretty well. The cold side might be a little tricky. this be on the other side of that bar. How do I do this? That feels good on the shins. Holy crap, that feels great. Ah! Oh my god, immense pain. Holy fuck. Absolute tragedy for the legs. Fucker. Well, it's at least, you know, in place. So I'm gonna get this bent and finagled, and then there's little like L brackets that bolt to the bottom here that I'll deal with, and then we can kind of figure out some of the other piping, which looks like it should be pretty straightforward. I still need to cut out the inner fender there, and over here it looks like it should be fine. All right, intercooler is bolted on. Fits pretty good, all things considered. Now we can start mocking up the charge pipes. We'll start with putting, a couple clamps on. Not clamps, couplers. Okay. There must be, oh, they're all the way at the other end. Alright, so those must go from pipe to intercooler, and that must go from pipe to throttle body. There we go. So, you might be able to tell, I don't have the bottom mounts on it right now because the bottom of the intercooler is like in line with the bottom of the core support, so the brackets that they supplied won't really work, but once I get this thing up in the air someday, it'll be easy to rebend them and then just run self-tappers up from the bottom. Alright, now the piping, and I'm assuming this one goes on this side. There's no instructions, but kind of looks like this is the only way it can fit. That's pretty decent. The only thing is the battery tray, which I should be able to clear because, you know, street car. If I can get away with putting the battery in the front, I'm fine with it. Although I'll probably end up putting it in the back, but for now I want to plan on putting it up front. That way, once I do move it, it'll just have a lot more room. Probably end up running like the catch can up there or something. Now we can do this failed attempt here. Get this thing on, which is always super easy. You can do it one-handed without struggling. That's how nice this kit is. Come on, you bastard. I'm gonna throw a couple clamps on that because that thing's wiggling all over the place. Got the bottom mounts on the intercooler. It'll definitely hold it a lot better. Cut out this intersection to reclock the turbo. I have to shorten this pipe about 2.5 inches, and I have to remake the one coming up into the throttle body, which can't really do that until I get a throttle body ordered. Everything else is looking spectacular. Still have plenty of room for a nice big radiator. Got like 18 by 28, I think. So I'll probably just order like a, probably just an upgraded SN95 radiator. It looks like a stock one should work no problem. And then it can sit in those mounts, and I can make little pieces up here since I don't have the stock ones. Oh, and this kit came with 2 different exhaust options, it looks like. There's that bumper exit one, which I guess an SN95 being apparently significantly wider than a Fox body. I didn't think they were that much wider, but I would assume on this kit this would come out of the bumper, and it's basically inside the tire here. But man, this looks freaking cool. This is going to be such a great street car, dude. I cannot wait. So I think that's probably where we're going to call it for the day. This thing's looking so great. I want to end it on a high note. I'm so stoked about this thing. Once you get past the, yeah, it's just another LS Mustang, I think this thing's going to be pretty sweet. So that is going to do it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. I hope you're into the car as much as I am. If you're not, give it a chance. or stick around, watch some of the other stuff. But that is going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, clicking that bell to get the notifications. If you need anything from Snake Eater Performance, use code Snydertron for 10% off your entire order. If you need anything from Circle D, use code Snyder3000 for 10% off your order. That's going to do it for today's video. See ya.